Hello everyone. So today I'm going to explain how we are going to import the CSV file using REST APIs and to read data from the CSV file, and after reading those data we are going to store those information into the databases. Okay, so for reading the data from the CSV file, basically I have created one Spring Boot project with as a dependency management tool. I have used the Maven. So for reading the data from the CSV file, basically we need one external dependencies. This is called the OpenCSV. There are other dependencies available also, so that also you can use, but I have used the OpenCSV for reading the data from the CSV file. And as a database, I have used the MySQL database. I will show you the means like properties file, my configuration details for this one. So these two dependencies are used, and these are the, like, as you know, this data JPA is if we are going to kind of connectivity with the databases, and if we want to do some of database related operations, then data JPA kind of is needed. So this is the reason that dependency is used. And this is for starter web, as we are going to use a controller and REST endpoint for uploading the CSV file. So that's why we need to use this starter web. So these are the pretty much like kind of dependencies informations, like what kind of jars we are going to use over here. So this is the details for it. Now if we come to, as you can see, the latest version we are going to use for this one 3.1.2 for Spring Boot, and Java 17 we are going to use. Okay, now if we see the properties file for connecting with the MySQL database, so the driver class name that we need to provide over here, this MySQL CJ JDBC driver, and then we need to provide the URL, like what is the schema name for this particular MySQL database and where it is stored. Maybe it is a local host or any other external IPs that also we need to provide over here, and also we need to provide that also username and password. For us, this is the schema name. Okay, and these are the like MySQL dialect also we need to provide. And if we want to show the SQL into the console, then we need to provide as instead of false it will be true. And if we want to format the SQL, but for the timing it's not required. And also we are providing the maximum pool size as 5. Okay, so these are the like properties configurations for connecting. If you are going to connect with the MySQL driver, you guys can use any other databases instead of the MySQL driver. In my as a for my project for demonstrating, I use the MySQL. Okay, so for storing the data into the database, basically what a step we are going to follow. First of all, like, we are going to create one REST endpoint, which is basically taking one input for the CSV file. We are going to import into the like any REST APIs, and from that we are going to take this input as a one input in the REST APIs, and then we are going to store the means we are going to read the data from this CSV file one by one. How much record is having, that doesn't matter. We are going to read it from there, and then we are going to store it into a particular table. So for that, basically we need to one table, in which table basically we are going to store the data, right? So for that we need to create one table. So the table structure would be something like that. I have used, like, first of all, one is the ID, then description 1 2, then the values. So it will be a kind of, for demonstrating one, I have just used this kind of structure. For real scenarios it will be little bit of different, or maybe we can customize it. Okay, so first of all we need to create this table. So let me create the, okay, this is created. Now if you, this is up now. Okay, now if we open this table, so this doesn't have any records. Now what we are going to do over here, first of all, we are going to create one controller. Okay, so let me create one package for that, dot controller. Okay, next we are going to create one class, like files controller. As it is a REST endpoint, so we need to provide two annotations. One is REST controller, which is represent as a as it is a REST, and another one is the request mapping, like path for this one. So here basically we are using this slash API. Okay. Next, we are going to create one API which is basically responsible to take the input CSV file as input, and then need to save the data into the into the database. So store files into DB, for example. Okay, and we can annotate, means it will be a post mapping. Okay, and this will be a path for this, and it will take this input. How it's taking an input? Like first of all, it will be a request param we need to provide, and it will be a like multi-part file. Okay, as you know, if we are going to store some files and something related to the files, then instead of like string or any DTO, custom DTO, it will be a multi-part file. Actually, for that we are going to use. Okay, and it will be a file. Okay, it will be a request param, not mapping, because it's a parameter. Okay, now this is done, means we have taken this input, and now we are going to call the service. So for that we are going to create the service layer. Before that, we are going to create the entity package first. Okay, let's create those entities, like files, for example, files. Okay, as you know, we have like created these like tables over here, file underscore data, so that we need to provide some mapping over here. So we need to mapping these tables here, like data setter is fine, and as you can see, this entity we have used this file underscore data. Okay, and here basically we need to define all these fields, this ID, description one, and all those fields we need to define over here. So these are the field declarations, and this will be represented as a ID. Okay, because without like ID it will not allow us to create this table, not allowed to create this entity. So it's a mandatory to provide any IDs, any of these IDs as a ID. Okay, so the table creation is done. Next we are going to create one repository which is basically responsible to save the data, means interactions with the databases. We are going to use the one repository. So for that we need to create one interface. Let me create this one, file repository. Okay, now it will basically extend JPA repository. Okay, and it will take two inputs, one is the entity and another one is the ID. So ID will be a string. Okay, as you can see, ID is the string. Okay, so repository is done. Now we are going to create another package for service. Okay, so here basically new class we are going to class like file service, and it will be annotated with the service annotation. Okay, now we are going to create this like this one method, which is basically take this input from this means we need to provide this input, this file part, and then accordingly we need to read the data from this CSV file, and accordingly we need to save the data. Okay, so for example we are going to save, for example, and here basically we are going to, first of all, we need to define one path. Okay, so for example I have keeping this particular file in this path. Okay, now here it will take one input like that multipart. Okay, multipart file. Okay, now we are going to use this CSV reader. As you can see, this CSV reader is coming from this OpenCSV. These dependencies I have used, external dependencies I have used for reading the data from the CSV file. Okay, so reader equal to new CSV reader, and here basically we need to pass one reader. So file reader we are going to pass over here, file reader, and here we need to pass the file. So here we are going to pass this file path, plus we need to provide the file name. So how we are going to get the file name? From this file, means from the input dot get. As you can see, it's a name, original file name, so that name we are going to pass over here. So that means it is done now. Next, it will throw some exceptions, so we need to throw this one, file not found. If the file is not available, then it will throw us the file not found exception. Okay, now basically we are going to like read all the details. So how we are going to, like using the reader, we are going to read all the like all the data from the CSV file. So here basically one method like read all, and as you can see, it is returning like list of it will also throw, so you need to do exception. It will return list of string. Okay, string array rows. Okay, so it's returning list of like string array. Now we are going to, so that means the data reading is done. Okay, so once the data read is done, then we are going to save this all the data into the database. So for that, basically we need to iterate this rows. Okay, and then accordingly, like maybe we can put some data like seize out something like this one. Okay, and then we are going to create the like create this entity files, and then okay, and then we are going to set all the data dot set id. Okay, dot set description 1, set description 2, like that. Okay, set value 1, set value 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the last one. Okay, now actually we need to set the data over here. So here basically for this id, it's a row 0, like the 0th position, then it's a 1, it's a 2, it's a 3, it's a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need to correct it. Okay, index. Okay, so this is done now. Next, what we are going to do, we are going to create one list of files. Equals to new array list. Okay, now in this list basically we are going to save the data over here. It means add this file dot add files. Okay, now we are going to use this particular repository here, like AutoWire, and then private files repository, repository. Okay, and using this we are going to save the data outside of the for loop. Dot save all, and here file list. Okay. Okay, so now here is a two approach basically. One is we can singly, like here, instead of this one, we can directly, like we can do something like this. Instead of adding all those things into a save and then files, means instead of list we can single also save the over here. Second option is to we can just add all those data into a list, and then finally we can save the list. So it will like perform the, it will better, like instead of singly save all the data, then instead of that, like we can add those data into a list and then simply save this list. So instead of calling the database multiple time, it will call it once. So this is a better, so this is a better approach. Now if we see the like a CSV file, how it will be look like, how we are like this is a 10 records basically, 10 columns in the CSV file. So let's look this CSV file. This is basically CSV file content. I have opened in a notepad. It's also can be opened into the Excel or CSV file also, but I have opened in a notepad. As you can see, these are the, this is a comma separated basically, and here as you can see, this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So 10 records over here. I'm going to import this CSV from the Postman, and then we can insert those records into the database. Okay, so let's now start the applications so that we can check those things. So CSV file, and so that means, okay, now one thing I think left. So from here basically we need to call this service, right? Else how it will call those things? Private file service, service. Okay, file service dot save, and here we are going to pass this one, and obviously it will return, need to throw those exception. Okay, and here basically we can send the response like something like the response is okay or something, so we can send those response from over here. Why it is not taking? Okay, so we have also like returned the response like success from over here. Okay, now so we are going to check those things from the Postman. So this is the API details, like API, and then to upload files into DB. So this is the upload files into DB, and this is the API. And before that, localhost 880, this is this port the application will be run. And from here, as you can see, here is a like key, like either text or file you can choose over here, text or file. And then from here basically we need to select the path. Okay, so let me select those path. As you can see, so this is the path. Here basically I'm going to either image or CSV file, I'm going to use this one. So that already I have opened and I'll show you. So let me select this one. So as you can select, so this file name come over here. Okay, now if we send this one, okay, so it's a success, right? Okay, now let's like check the database. Okay, I can refresh. Okay, you can see like the data is inserted, right? Data, all data are inserted. Okay, so this is the way basically we can read those data. if you check the console, so here we have printed those things, so it's already like printed, right? It's already like print over here. So those informations like in the service layer we have already here, so we have already sysed out this 4 records, so 4 records already printed over here. So this is the like thing, just to summarize one in this here's like we are trying to I'm trying to like how we are going to import a CSV file. Like already I have shown over here how we are going to import this CSV file using REST APIs and to read data from the CSV file and save data into the database. So for reading the data from the CSV file, I am used one external jars which is called the OpenCSV. Using this, basically I have used the this basically used for reading the data from the CSV file, and then we have beta edited this one, and using the Spring Data JP we are saving all the records into the databases. So for database wise, I am used the MySQL, and we are already like inserted. I've shown you like how you are going to insert it over here. For that created one tables into the MySQL, and then accordingly we have mapped all those data, and then accordingly we have imported all those things. So this is all about this, like how we are going to import any CSV file from the Postman and like using the REST APIs, and how we are going to read data from the like CSV file and then save the data. And for picking the as a input parameter for this file, we are going to use this multipart file as a request param. This is the need, else it will some compile means some runtime exceptions will occur. So this is the need for this one. So this is the thing that this is a very simple approach. Instead of so, and also one more thing, like we need to provide all the information related to the MySQL connectivity, the URLs and username, password, all those things in a properties file. So this is the one point that we need to provide. And if you guys have anything like any doubt or anything, please do let me know in the comment sections. I will try to clear those things. So that's all about this one. In next tutorial I will try to cover like how we are going to generate CSV from like read the data from the database, and accordingly we can download it. So that I will show you in my next tutorial. So for this one, that's all like for this. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.